It's Sandra here, and I am going to make some low carb or keto Zuppa Toscana soup. It is delicious. And make a guess what you use instead of potatoes. Potatoes are not keto. I'm going to use radishes, and this is so good. So, start off, we start browning our sausage. I'm using 2 pounds. The direction says a pound and a half. Well, it comes in 1 pound packages. I'm using the Sawyer Sage recipe. It's what I like. And I'll get this all browned up and then I will turn it back on. Okay, I'm getting it almost browned up, but before I got it completely browned, I'm going to put the onion in it so that I can brown the onion, cook the onion along with it, but it didn't need to cook as long as the sausage. And it calls for 1 small onion, but as I used extra sausage, I'm using extra onion. My onion was a little bit bigger than a small onion, but I like it that way, so. Recipes are only to be, they're only a guideline. You can do whatever you want with the recipe. If you don't have something, substitute. It's the way we do it here anyway. If you notice behind me, it kind of looks like I'm in my grandmother's kitchen. I've got her old dishpan hanging on the wall and old graters, and I use them still because they work, and I think of my grandmother every time I use it. So I think it's important to do things like that. So I'm supposed to put the garlic in with it, but my garlic, I don't have any whole cloves, so I'm substituting it with a garlic powder so I can add that later. And my go-to is using garlic pepper salt. It's called garlic pepper, but it's got salt in it too. So the recipe actually calls for garlic and black pepper and salt. So I just kind of combine it all, and I end up using a tablespoon of my garlic pepper salt. And wow, this is browning up. We can start putting some stuff. This is Instapot. I could have browned this in the Instapot, but I'm going to do it on slow cook. So I was just kind of showing what you can do in a slow cooker. I just happen to be using an Instapot on slow cook mode. So I like my grandmother's frying pan, cast iron frying pan, to brown things because it's nice and big. I don't have to worry about this scratching it, and I like to use this to kind of chop it up, because when you get your sausage in a bulk thing, you know, it's kind of sits there like that, so you have to kind of chop it up. So in the meantime, I'm going to add some of the other ingredients in here, and the recipe calls for 64 ounces of chicken bone broth. Well, this is only half of 64, and it's what I always use. And I like it that way. I like it really meaty and not as much of your. So I only use the 32 ounces instead of 64. I give my recipe to somebody else and they tried it and they said, it just wasn't as good as yours. That's because I changed the recipes a little bit. So throw that in the sink back there. And then we're going to put in 1 cup of cream is going to go in here. That's how it gets nice and creamy. I'm going to put in my garlic pepper, and I'm using a tablespoon. And it's a mix that I mixed up myself because they can buy, at Costco, I can buy garlic, I can buy salt, I can buy pepper, I can buy paprika. So I kind of mixed up my own mix and used it. And this is actually the first time I'm using it, so we'll see how that turns out, but I can't see how it can not turn out. It's just the spices. So I'm going to go ahead and put my radishes in here. And it calls for 1 pound I was a little over a pound because my package was a little under a pound, so I used 2 packages, and by the time I trimmed it off, it'll be good. And then I'm going to use a package of spinach. It says to have it thawed, but it don't have to be thawed ahead of time. And so this is actually looking pretty good. Just cook it a little while longer. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. And then I'm going to just dump this in either a slow cooker or an Instapot. I'm going to do it on slow cook, so it's just like a slow cooker. And I make quite a bit of soup, and my husband's a truck driver, so I send frozen soup with him. He's got a fridge freezer in his semi, and he's got a microwave so he can heat it up, and then that way he can eat low carb. Not that he needs low carb. He wears the same size pants as he wore when we met. I was still in high school. He was out of high school, just out of high school. He wore 34 pants, and he still wears 34 pants. And he does not have a belly that hangs over top of it either. He is really in good shape. I am so lucky. On the other hand, I went from, well, I don't remember what I weighed when I married him, but probably 130. And I married him. We went to Washington. And first 4 months of marriage, I could eat whatever I wanted, and I didn't have to pay attention to what Mom put on the table and made me eat. So needless to say, I gained 15 pounds in 4 months. Well, that kept going up and up and up until I finally, in 2000, I said, this has got to end. I got my natural health consulting degree, and I looked at myself over 200 pounds and thought, who is going to come to me for advice when I'm over 200 pounds? I can't look like this. And so I actually went on Atkins back then, because they didn't have keto per se. It was called Atkins. So I went on Atkins, and I got down to 135, which was my high school weight. But it was a little thin. I had people coming up to me. Mailman would deliver a package to the house, and, oh my, are you okay? That's the reactions I was getting. Obviously, that was a little too thin for me, being a great grandma. So I gained a little back on purpose, but then I gained a little more back. So now I'm kind of, keto or low carb should be a life changing. You change your eating habits. You don't go on a diet. If you go on a diet, you're going to yo-yo up and yo-yo back down and yo-yo up and yo-yo back down. So they call it the yo-yo diets. So the key is to change your diet to a healthy living. And that's what this is a good, healthy diet. Well, we need to add one more thing in there, is bacon. Bacon bits. You can either, at Costco, this is 0 carbs, and it's called bacon crumbles, or you can cook up 6 strips of bacon and crumble it up and put it in your soup. Or I got some from my brother-in-law as a truck driver, and he had a damaged load of bacon bits, frozen ones. So I put them in individual size because they were in big bulk sizes. I put them in small baggies, and I still have some of that left. So that's what I'm going to use, something free. That's always a good thing. So I just dump in the bacon bits, and then we'll put the lid on it. And to put the lid on an Instapot, you make sure that this is lined up with here, and then you turn it. And then we're going to set it on low cook, and we'll cook it on slow cook. And it's simple. Just hit the start button, and it automatically goes to slow cook. That's number 1. So it's going to cook here for 4 hours, and then we will sample it. I will see you guys later when we sample it. I'll have my husband in here. You'll see that he doesn't need to lose any weight. But he does like to maintain, and he does like to do low carb because it prevents diabetes. You don't want to get diabetes, and the cause of it is eating too much sugar all of your life. Sugar and carbs can cause problems. So I will be back when this is done in 4 hours. Hi, I'm back, and our Zuppa is done, and I left the red pepper out of it. So my mom would probably like this, but we're going to taste it this way. We can always add red pepper. I've got some cayenne here. I don't happen to have any red peppers, so I am going to let my husband try it. So here you go. Tell me if you think it needs the red pepper. What do you think?
I think it's very good.
I think I'm going to add the red pepper because I know I like hot, so.
It's hot, but it's not
Oh, do you think you need some red pepper?
a little.
Okay. So that was my handsome hun. I think we've been married for 46 years, and I love him as much today as I did then. Probably more. You know, you grow together. So that is how you make a Zuppa. And if you like what you see, hit the like button and share it. And if you can find some more on the Natural Green Creations, it's our page. So I will see you next video.